coming back to their traditional home, Fortress Odsal. The Bulls crowds are booming this year, now they're back home. And Wigan have travelled in numbers on a Saturday night as well. There's a new optimism in the town. Ever since Stuart Raper took his gamble, it was forced on him really by injuries, to play the youngsters, and how they and the Wigan public have responded. This is the Wigan side that Stuart Raper hopes will do the trick tonight. Briscoe at fullback, Hodgson, O'Loughlin, Aspinwall, Carney, Graham and Lamb. And the forwards, O'Connor, Newton, Smith, Cassidy, Hock and Farrell the captain. And the substitutes, Tickle, Sculthorpe, Robinson, Brown. And the coach, who was our guest at Hull last night, Stuart Raper, he told me he was quietly confident. But it's a mighty challenge that faces them, the Bradford Bulls here at Fortress Odsal. Robbie Paul's the captain at fullback, Vicona, Naylor, Harpe and Vinacolo, Price and Deacon. Forwards, Vanganar, Lowes, Gartner, Peacock, Forshaw and Gilmore. And the bench, Pratt, Radford, Parker and Moore. The coach of the month, Brian Noble. Dressing room's empty, the players are on their way. And Wigan in their change strip tonight. Dark blue or black almost. It's normally cherry and white hoops. And there are the Wigan supporters hoping that tonight will be the night for them. They've lost just once in their last 7 Super League matches, and the revival gathered momentum with a 28-14 home win over Hull last Friday. But now, the entrance of the Bulls. They have never lost back-to-back home Super League matches in the same season before. London won here 3 weeks ago. What now for these fans and these players? Just waiting for the great arrival of the Gladiators. They really build their part here at Odsal. And great to see the terraces at this famous old ground packed once again on this warm and humid West Yorkshire night. And here they come. Fantastic to see this great old ground putting on its best face for one of the biggest games of the Super League season. The Bradford Bulls against the Wigan Warriors. This is a repeat of the 2001 Grand Final, which Bradford Bulls won, and Wigan will hate me for reminding them the score was 37 points to 6. Tonight, Steve-O, as we look at Carl Kirkpatrick, the man in the middle, who will take out the honours.
You'd have to say that with such a wonderful following here that the Bradford Bulls will start favourites, but we have seen over the past few weeks that Wigan and their youngsters, they have stood the test. Big testo, big clash. So many great players out there. It should be a classic.
Deacon with the high hanging kick-off. Briscoe underneath it. And O'Connor to drive the ball forward, of course. O'Connor, Craig Smith and Danny Sculthorpe, who's on the bench. They will not need me to remind them that one Quentin Pongier is on his way over here from New Zealand, and he will be adding competition for places. That's a run from Brian Carney, back after missing the last 3. He plays the ball, and here is Adrian Lamb, who's been in scintillating form for Wigan all season, but that's not the best kick, and Vicona collects it on the fly, and he will run the ball back. But a decent enough chase from Wigan, led by Nick Graham.
Interesting to see that they pinpointed Tavita Vicona right down onto the left-hand side as Wigan are facing. One would have thought they may have given the exercise to Vinacolo, the volcano.
This is Vanganar, the Bradford prop forward. There'll be an almighty clash between him and Craig Smith tonight, 2 former New Zealand international colleagues. Graham and O'Connor. Ooh, and Newton lifted the legs there of Mike Forshaw. That was very dangerous on halfway.
He felt that as well.
Here's the kick, slid across the top by Deacon, and that stands up on the Wigan try line. And here is Hodgson for Wigan.
Great chase, great defence into the in-goal area. This will lift the team and the crowd. wonderful kick. It had the backspin, and it was always going to be a problem for Hodgson. They kept him up. Great work there from Peacock. And Leon Price came to the assistance there.
Second set of 6 then for the Bradford Bulls. Great kick off though from Farrell.
Stuff.
What a kick from Farrell, right to the halfway line. Finds touch, and this will mean that Wigan will get the head and feet of the resulting scrum.
Isn't it amazing when you go through some good piece, good work, you get the advantage and then just fritter it away by lack of concentration, and that will certainly have not made the Brian Noble pleased at all.
Well, they could easily have been defending on their own line. As it is now, they're attacking in the Bradford Bulls half of the field, and they're offside. Bradford moving up too quickly at the play of the ball. The shrill whistle of Carl Kirkpatrick, and I think Farrell here is bound to have a shot at goal early.
Good thinking as well from the Wigan skipper. Half a dozen that Mr. Kirkpatrick could have selected. Just a little bit too keen to get out to the blocks, but you must say that this is good tactics by Andy Farrell. They were under the pressure, under the cosh. This will just calm his side down. Sprinkling of youngsters, and of course his experience, along with the likes of Terry O'Connor and Mick Cassidy, Terry Newton. They must come to the fore if they're going to hold this big Bradford side.
Farrell with the first penalty attempt of the night, and he is successful. Great start for Wigan then, and their captain, who missed 11 games in February and May. How they missed him, but their supporters will be pleased with that. They are the first on the board. The opening points to the Wigan Warriors, courtesy of the boot of Andrew Farrell.
And full credit to the Wigan fans. They've trailed over the Pennines. It's probably one of the biggest away support from Wigan I've seen in many a year, Eddie. They really has a lot of enthusiasm into the town, haven't they?
They have. These youngsters have started to set Wigan alight. There's a flat pass for O'Connor to drive forward. He got away with it. And that was Terry Newton, and here is Mick Cassidy, Shantaine Harpy, and Paul Deacon with the tackle. Here now is Brian Carney, the Irish international. A big hit from Banganar.
Lined him up and just buried him.
Lamb again with the kick.
Give him 10.
Vicona picks it up. Good chase though. And O'Loughlin leading the way with Gareth Hock and David Hodgson.
Well, again, that surprises me, Eddie. They've pinpointed the Bradford right winger, Tavita Vicona. Not yet tested Tavita Vainicolo in that left-hand side, but this is a good run.
Deacon again drives the ball forward. They are 30 metres away now, the Bradford Bulls. Deacon plays the ball to James Lowes. Here is Robbie Paul, finds Jamie Peacock, and he is wrestled to the ground. 4 tackles gone. Lowes 20 metres away. Vanganar, fearsome sight, Joe Vanganar. This is where Bradford have the advantage with the big men up front.
Good work there by Nick Graham, made sure he couldn't offload.
Last tackle here for Bradford. Expect the kick from Deacon, and there it is. It's a tester for Hodgson. Claims it well.
Good positioning by David Hodgson, but that was a poor kick, and that's probably what Brian Noble was sending the message down, saying, look, if you're going to utilise it, make sure that that ball comes in. He wasn't happy.
Farrell now. He pointed at Naylor then. Of course, Naylor began his career at Wigan a long, long time ago. Newton to O'Loughlin.
Pretty cautious rugby league football by Wigan at the moment. Just trying to work themselves into this game.
Here's Gareth Hock. That's a good tackle by Leon Price. And Naylor swings the youngster onto his back as well. Newton and Craig Smith.
Impressive the way that the Bradford side, first and second markers, see how they peel away back and then go towards the man playing the ball.
That's a lovely kick from Lamb. It's picked up by Briscoe. It bounces off the chest of Deacon. Oh, it could be a try for Wigan here. Could easily be a try. The referee will have to have that on. And I think that's Aspinwall who was following up. Now, was there a try? Did they get a hand to it? It was a ricochet into the in-goal area.
Another big question. when Adrian Lamb got the kick away over the top. Then there was another kick. Now then, does Deacon go for the football? That's what they will be looking at. Lamb fires it away. They're all onside there, so that's okay. I've got no problems with that. Now then, does he go for it? I think he does. I think there's a bit of a movement there by Paul Deacon. Now then, they'll go to see whether there's any hand goes to force it.
So they're onside twice here,
yeah,
Wigan.
Briscoe puts it through, so now, good thinking. It wasn't the best. No, the ball played the man there. Either way, though, they were onside. Does he get to it first? I don't know why Vainikolo tried to pick up this football. Everyone misses it there. I don't think that's full control. With the motion.
Nick Graham. It is Nick Graham who thinks he scored.
Well,
Aspinwall came in late there, you see. And I just wonder whether Vainikolo actually brushed this with his fingertips anyway.
He did.
Downward pressure.
But why on earth did he not just dive on it in such a difficult situation? I don't think this will be a try. Nick Graham certainly gets the forearm to it, but is it control? Why the Volcano tried to pick this ball up here is anyone's guess. All he has to do is plonk the hand on top of it, and then it will be diffused. It will be a dropout, of course, and I think there he's done it. I think he's rolled the fingers across enough. Remember, this is in frame by frame.
Well, if Nick Graham is given the nod here by the video referee, it will be his first try for the club since he arrived from Cronulla.
I don't think he's got control of this, Eddie. You can see that the palm of the hand has gone way past the football. He took the gamble for it. I think this will be a dropout. Right underneath the sticks. But good play. No try for mine.
Let's see. Oh, the try is given. Nick Graham gets his first try. Stuart Raper and Mike Gregory. Wigan off to a flyer here at Odsal. And Nick Graham, this is his 9th consecutive appearance since arriving from Australia in the Cronulla Sharks. And James Lowes is going potty at Carl Kirkpatrick. It's not his call, it's the call of tonight's video referee. Wigan have the try.
Well, there's two angles you've got to look at this. First the kick from Lamb, then Briscoe goes through. Good combination, ricochets away. And I think it's the upward movement by Vainikolo that's convinced the video referee that he didn't force the ball dead in goal. He tried to pick it up, but you can see quite clearly his fingertips across it. In fact, he's made more of an impact on the football than what the try scored had, which was the forearm.
Farrell adds the extras to rub a little bit of salt in the wound. The video referee tonight, by the way, is Jeff Berry. They don't come more experienced than him. He was the man in charge of the Challenge Cup final. And Wigan off to the perfect start. They lead here by 8 points to 0. But there is an element of controversy about that try to Nick Graham. And James Lowes was leading the chorus of complaint to referee Carl Kirkpatrick, but it wasn't his call. Now the rain is coming down at Odsal. This will make the handling conditions much more difficult. Oh, Vanganar on Carney. Welcome back to the Tetley Super League, Brian Carney.
He's hurt as well as Carney, and why not? That's like a runaway truck coming over the top of you. Well, they got the rib of the green there. I know that Jimmy Lowes always has plenty to say, but I think he had a cause there to question the man in the middle. That's the only man he can get to. No way in the world he can speak to Mr. Berry. Maybe Mr. Berry's rather fortunate that he couldn't.
Lamb with a kick. Right down the centre of the field this time, and Robbie Paul is after this, the Bradford captain. Now can he inspire a counter-attack? It's a good chase, led by Terry Newton and Mick Cassidy.
That could have been a flop, really. It's looked as though the tackle had been complete.
Mrs. Vicona.
Well, Wigan are up for it. You can see that. That's going to be a penalty.
O'Connor penalised.
He said he was being held on the shirt. May well have been.
As Stuart Raper left us last night in Hull, he said Wigan have been training the house down this week, and he was quietly confident. There he is with Mike Gregory, his assistant, alongside him. 40 metres away, though, Bradford are, with this restart from the penalty from the Wigan line. Well, the two with Deacon.
Two coaches today, Eddie, are of the opinion that sometimes the rub of the green goes your way, and maybe it evens itself out throughout the course of the season. But I'm sure deep down Stuart Raper feels that he's extremely fortunate to put his side in the lead.
Deacon's pass to Gartner, good run from Gartner. Plays the ball to James Lowes. Some disarray in the Wigan defence as Forshaw attacks them, but Farrell is there to wrestle him to the ground with Gareth Hock. The ball came free. Told you the handling conditions would get a little bit more difficult now. It's raining.
No penalties.
Just the impact there. As soon as the body hit the ground, no chance of hanging on to it. I think this will only be a bit of a brief shower. It has been so muggy, and the humidity up here has been very high indeed.
Adrian Lamb again with the kick.
It's a good one too.
It's a cracker. Could be a 40-20 this.
It is.
It could be a 40-20.
No doubt about it. Well, I've been calling for the tactic. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Wigan's head and feed. Lamb, terrific kick. Well inside.
Yeah, and the first time that they've bothered to kick onto the right wing, and you can see quite clearly that the Volcano was in the wrong position.
He's been outstanding this year for Lamb. Kicks in general play average 5 a game. He's already up to 4. We're less than 11 minutes into the match, and here come Wigan again. O'Loughlin though just slipped as he arrived at the would-be tacklers Naylor and Price. Craig Smith now to drive it in. Another one who's had a big season for Wigan this year. They're in a good position with Hodgson. He finds Gareth Hock. Gareth Hock flicks the ball back to Newton. He offloads then in terms of the try scorer Graham. Graham teasing the line, and they were just delaying. That's 3 tackles gone, halfway through this set of 6. Newton the dummy half. The runner is Farrell. Farrell's over for the Wigan try. Farrell's over for the try. Wigan lead 12-0. It's his 100th for Wigan. Andrew Farrell's 100th try for Wigan, and what a moment to score it at the Odsal Stadium.
They were up for this, you could just sense it. He's shouting at his charges, but it was good build-up, tremendous stuff. Celebrations on the terrace in, and rightly so. This guy, Captain Marvel, has done it again. It all came about from the 40-20. Adrian Lamb, Vinocola well out of position, not expecting that. Remember that pinpointed the other winger. Good offload. Combination. Oh, nice little dummy there. And he gets it into a position. Now watch this. A little bit lax here, the Bradford defence. They held back. You can see there that Joe Vangadar had just gone a little bit too earlier. And when you do that, you were off balance. He couldn't get a big shot on this big fella. And Andy Farrell gleefully takes it 4. And does he make it 6? Yes, he does.
Yes, Farrell's goal and try. 14-0 to Wigan. What a captain's knock from Andrew Farrell. And it all came about courtesy of the kick from Adrian Lamb. The 40-20. Absolutely brilliant. Nick Cassidy just tying a bootlace way downfield here, and so Wigan at the moment with 12 men in the defensive line, although they are of course with ball in hand. 100 tries for Andrew Farrell for the Wigan club, for whom he has played with such distinction over the years, and boy how they missed him early on, and he's really back to his best.
It just shows you the importance of that rule, the 40-20. Oh, that's a bad mistake from Cassidy at a time when really they should have just been settling things down, getting into a good position. It hasn't been all that fancy from Wigan so far, but boy, it's been effective.
Well, let's hear from Phil Clark for the first time tonight. Phil, a great start for Wigan.
Yeah, fantastic. In the games that I've seen Wigan play this year, Adrian Lamb has never failed to be one of the best 3 performers. Again, inspirational really with that kicking game he had. He's caused trouble early on with the chip kick as Bradford lose possession again and Wigan retain it. This is really worrying times now for Brian Noble and the Bradford side. There's such a feeling really and a step in the Wigan side that they're really doing it tough to hang on in there at the moment.
Well, Bradford losing the ball, and Wigan on the charge here with Farrell driving it in once more. There were 1 or 2 of the players, by the way, just changing their footwear after that try was scored. This is Terry Newton, and I think Mick Cassidy was one of them. That's why he was down and tying the bootlaces. And I think I've also noted that Tavita Vaikona was changing his shoes as well. This is Briscoe. They're getting a little bit rattled, the Bradford public.
There's got to be a penalty there, and he was in the way.
Lamb with a kick through, just too deep.
Well, they really should have been awarded a penalty there. It looked as though that there was messing around there. Look, never got out of the area where he should. Rule states quite clearly. In that area, you've got to roll away or get out of the man picking up the football.
Here now is Shantaine Harpy, and look at it in Super League. 10-10, one draw. Bradford and Wigan, two of the biggest and the best in the competition. And here is Lowe's and Vanganar and Robbie Paul on the angled run. Well watched by O'Connor and Graham.
Great rivals, of course. Interesting to notice that stat that came up a little bit earlier, Eddie, was the fact that Adrian Lamb is doing all the kicking. Maybe Stuart Rayford has taken the responsibility away from Andy Farrell so they can get back into open play.
That's a good kick from Jamie Peacock. Stands up for Hodgson. Now he got pulled back into the in-goal area last time. Not this time. Went to Graham with the ball. Here is Briscoe. All those 5 kicks from Wigan have been from Adrian Lamb. Great offload. Newton finds Graham. Wigan have the air again of a side that's going places. Lamb. Ball away to Martin Aspinwall. Good defence though here from Bradford on this occasion. O'Connor will drive it forward though, more up to halfway. That's the last. And Newton waits at dummy half. Here is Farrell. Here's the kick from him. It's touched in flight by Lowe's. It's play on. Naylor has it. Gives it to Vaikona. He bounces off Hodgson. He bounces also away from O'Loughlin, and he pushes another one off. But eventually, that's good play from the youngster. Although he's now conceded a penalty, Gareth Hock. Although it wasn't him, it might have been Hodgson.
It was. Came late. Golden opportunity there. Bradford really have to settle the ship. They have been rocked. It all started so well, didn't it? This fella playing the football, Joe Vanganar, both in attack and defence, lifted the spirits, but 2 quick tries by Wigan. And to be fair, Brian Noble has made it quite clear he feels that this side over the past few weeks, Eddie, have not been playing at the top performance.
This is Peacock looking anxiously on Brian. No, that was lost. That wasn't played properly. And another mistake from Bradford in the shape of Jamie Peacock this time.
Simple error. Just lost the control of it.
Both sides.
Quite a few of them do that, mainly due to the fact, you know, Eddie, that the officials these days, they don't really worry about whether the foot makes contact with the ball as long as they try.
Well, I think that's in Stuart Cummings' new instructions for this year. The new now, we're 15 games in, aren't we? But that's a part of the instruction. So long as it is attempted to be played by the ball or appears to be played by the foot.
Well, it's just a new interpretation, which is okay if it's for both sides. But you could see there that when they're trying to roll it back, Peacock lost control of it.
Indeed. I must say, having watched our coverage from Australia, the Australians are actually playing the ball a lot tidier than the British game at the moment, although there's nothing wrong with that from Carney. And here is Craig Smith.
And a lot quicker, I might add.
Yes, well, there's none of this nonsense, you see. They
That's
just make
right.
the tackle and get up and get back in defence.
Well, down under they would have been penalised, simple as that.
It worries me, actually, with the Ashes series, if we happen to get an Australian referee for that Test series.
Don't worry, we will.
Lamb again on the last. Here's another kick. Crossfield again. This time, though, it's a bit sliced. Vaikona has been safe under them, hasn't he? Good chase from O'Loughlin, though.
Took it well. Good shield as the fellow players got right in front. Make sure they had a good opportunity to get to it.
By the way, on the subject of Australian referees, we saw Ashley Klein, the latest of them, the London-based Aussie, last night at Hull. And you may remember, by the way, the State of Origin 2 is live on Wednesday at 10:30, Sky Sports 1. You may remember that last night we were just talking about Australian refs who had officiated in the Super League. Well, Ian Proctor, our whiz with the stats, has come up with the 3 names from 1996 Bill Harrigan, Stephen Clark and Tim Mander. They were all involved in the Super League's inaugural year. The kick is straight down the throat of Hodgson. Oh, and he's away from them almost. Peacock and Naylor eventually, but they're on halfway. Primetime replays, by the way, for the State of Origin. Can't make it live. 3:30 Sky Sports 1, 8 o'clock Sky Sports 3. But don't forget, the whole game live from 10:30 Wednesday morning, Sky Sports 1. Gareth Hock plays the ball to Newton. Lamb again.
Big problem for Bradford is that they just can't get this possession. Wigan are controlling things. Good defence there from Shontaine Hoppy.
Terry O'Connor. Still going O'Connor, great run. And Brian Noble has come down and he's passing the instructions on to Rob Parker, who is about to come onto the field. And Adrian Lamb goes for a drop goal. He's got it. Adrian Lamb gets it, even though it was touched in flight. It does not matter anymore. And Lamb has increased the lead.
They changed the rule a couple of years ago, and I reckon he would have missed with that. It was the ricochet that actually sent it in the right direction. Again, the rub of the green, but you take him. 1 point. I'm a great fan of the one-pointers. My colleague on the side of me will explain.
Yes, you call for it week in, week out. But
you just think about it now. He knows that that could be vital. He knows that Bradford will get back into the swing of things. Okay, they're a little bit off form at the moment. They've got all the strike power in the world of the Bulls.
They have. They've got a lot of strike power, haven't they, Phil? They can come back into this in the blinking of an eye.
Yeah, they can, and I would imagine if Andy Farrell was speaking to his teammates just while they ran back for the kick-off, it'll be the focus and concentration to prevent a mistake from themselves that will allow Bradford to get back into it with possession inside their own half. As it is, they're on a roll.
They are with Lamb. It's Lamb. And in the end, he is hauled to the ground by Peacock. But Wigan are flooding forward again here with Farrell, and the kick is for Briscoe, and Briscoe's after this. Robbie Paul just allows it to go dead. That's good play from the Bradford skipper, but a great attack from Wigan.
Wonderful break by Lamb. A little bit at 6s and 7s was the Bradford defence. They really have looked as though they're playing with lack of confidence. And why not? There's been some big hits out there. First it was Bradford, now Wigan are taking charge in the defensive stakes.
Here's Parker coming on with instructions from Brian Noble ringing in his ears. And it's Robbie Paul. Stopped dead in his tracks.
A lot quicker play the ball there. Good build-up by the Bulls.
And here is Deacon. They have upped the tempo. Oh, and he's lost it. Naylor under pressure there. He was really under pressure from Sean O'Loughlin. And here is Farrell.
A lot quicker to the football as well. You saw there Gareth Hock. As soon as he hit the deck, he said, it's mine.
Release.
Well, it's a big hole for this Bradford side to get out of, I can assure you.
Danny Sculthorpe on his brother Paul, running in 4 tries last night in St Helens win. We shall see the highlights of the Saints' victory over Halifax at half-time. Graham, and they go wide to Lamb, the engineer-in-chief, and he shows it to a couple, and Harpay would not be fooled by that. Good tackling. This is Carney now, and he just jinks outside Harpay, who had hold of his shirt, and a good job too. Forshaw finished him off.
Few of the Bradford side just falling off the tackle.
Graham, another crossfield kick, another tester for Vicona. Penalty, the referee screamed at them to give him 10. The referee screamed at the Wigan players to give Vicona 10 metres because he was convinced they were in front of the kicker. It's a penalty for offside. 15 offside. Sean O'Loughlin.
Good refereeing there. And you can see just slightly. Must have been assisted. He's just at the bottom of the screen there. That's Sean O'Loughlin. And by the time he got it away, good kick though. And Nick Graham, there's a man that's caught out by Carl Kirkpatrick. Who's having a good game.
Yes, he is. I mentioned earlier, Bradford never lost back-to-back home Super League matches in the same season before. But they're looking down the barrels of that now. The last time they lost 2 home Super League games in a row was at the end of one season, 1997, the title-winning year. Wigan won here, and the following year. This is Lowe's trying to get Bradford back and involved in the match. And Brian Noble is prowling the sidelines as they play the ball 10 metres from the line and find Robbie Paul. And Paul looks for Deacon and gets him. And Deacon can't get away from Sculthorpe, so gives it then to Gilmore. And here is Price, and he gets it away to Gartner, and back it goes to Lowes. And Wigan are scrambling in defence magnificently. That's the last. But Bradford are 2 metres away, and Lowes didn't like that. And it is spun back to Deacon, and Deacon will dab the kick through. Oh, and it bounced awkwardly, and Terry Newton couldn't take it in, and he's pinged for a knock-on by Carl Kirkpatrick.
Not the best kick, got down to it, just couldn't defuse it and keep hold of it. But I must say, Brian Noble has to get the message out to his hooker, Jimmy Lowes, who was spending more time complaining to the official rather than playing the ball extremely quickly. They need a little bit more enthusiasm all round instead of trying to control the game by non-stop chattering to Carl Kirkpatrick. Stuart Raper quite happy with the start, obviously. At 15-0, who would have thought it? 25 minutes into this game.
Terry O'Connor just checking the fillings are still in place by the looks of things.
Hold him, let him in.
Got a bang in the mouth. The mouth guard might well have done its job for him there. And of course mentioned earlier that O'Connor and Craig Smith under pressure now, and Danny Sculthorpe. Pongy is on his way. And this is Mike Forshaw, former Wigan man of course, 10 metres from the line. Plays the ball to Lowes, looking for the big men, finds Paul instead. Peacock, good tackle low down. Copybook tackle from Adrian Lamb. Wigan defending the line for all they're worth. Parker!
Oh, so close. Lamb came to the rescue. That should be a sin bin.
And it is.
Yeah. Peacock will go in. Sculthorpe, should I say. He cannot tap the ball, and Danny knows that he's going to have 10 minutes. See you later. Sin bin. Wigan down to 12. What on earth did he want to do that? Maybe thought he could get away with it. Hasn't been on the field of play all that long. And this is a good option. Just tap it, put the pressure on, especially with your opposition down one man.
Indeed so, because here's Parker again. And big number 30 there, Richard Moore is on. There's no Paul Anderson this evening. I think Bill Arthur's got news of that. We'll get it from him shortly after we see how this attack shapes up. It's with Shontaine Harpy. It took 3 to bring him down.
Good tackle by Aspinwall, had to be. Goes right down the lower part of the legs.
The tackle's completed. Lowes going on his own, he gets there, does he know? He's forced back again. Terrific defence from Wigan, this.
Unbelievable there, Cassidy and Newton.
Deacon jinking inside, Gareth Hock gets the pass away, that's going to be a try.
Certainly is.
Made it, and Robbie Paul touches it down. Now what is Adrian Lamb and Andy Farrell and company complaining about there? They're not happy with something, but Robbie Paul's delighted because after his try against Warrington last week, he's got another one this. Robbie Paul has got Bradford on the board, and don't forget Wigan are down to 12 men.
And boy, they needed it. Lowes came into the action, great defence, pulled it there. It bobbled, didn't lose it, made sure he got back hold of it. And then it looked as though they could have been in a situation where it was a forward pass. But Lamb got a fingertip to it. If it had left that, it may have been down to the official and the touch judges to decide whether this was forward. It was a 50-50. Paul said, I'm not worried. Soon as it just, look at this, it bobbles here. He gets it just before it hits terra firma. Wonderful control there, but I must say, Eddie, the way that Rob Parker has brought it was a great move by Brian Noble, the coach. Bring him on, he's lifted the side.
He has, and that will as well. The kick from Paul Deacon. Second on the goals and punch charts behind Hull. Steve Prescott, who we saw last night. Paul's try, Deacon's goal, and Bradford are on the board against the Wigan 12. Must be very warm for Deacon in that scrum cap, and James Lowes just managed to grab hold of the ball in that melee before it hit the deck. Did well. Farrell restarts. Bobbling and bouncing to the in-goal area. Leslie Vinocola will run it back out at them again.
Now then, would this have been a forward pass? You know, I think it would have been. I really do believe that, and I think that Andy Farrell thought he might be able to convince the official that it should have been a forward, but as soon as Lamb got a touch to it, it was play on. Boy, they needed that.
I think they were asking, though, Steve, about the little bobble by Lowe's. Wigan obviously believed it was a knock-on. Our cameras proved conclusively, as they do week in, week out when there's any disputes, that it wasn't a knock-on. Right, down to Bill. You have news of Paul Anderson and why he's not here, Bill.
That's right, Eddie. It's one thing Wigan can be thankful for, that Baloo, as he's known in these parts, is not out there for the Bulls tonight. He, if you remember, broke his arm last year, and he apparently got a knock on it last game against Warrington, and it's causing him a bit of pain. Now they say that there's no break. He hasn't broken the bone again, but they are just taking precautions, and as I say, Wigan, at least Phil, will be grateful that he's not out there.
Yeah, they'll be pleased for that, and they'll also be pleased with the way the game's going. I know they've just conceded a try, but the defence on the line up until that point was excellent. It was almost a third set of 6. They held them out, and then eventually Bradford went over. But now again, if you just allow Bradford to play inside your half too much in a game, it's very, very hard to not lose the match. They are very, very good, close to the line, powering away over it, and you have to prevent them from attacking you inside your own half. At the moment, we're going to have got that job exactly now.
They have indeed, because they surrendered possession on halfway. But there was a slip.
Well, that's about the 4th occasion that early in the tackle count
Richard Moore lost the ball then. I thought for a minute he had 36 on his back, but half of his nought has been ripped off.
You're not going on about the seamstress again?
No. I just was looking at my list to see who was 36. There isn't one, so it must be Richard Moore.
Oh, big hit there.
By Jamie Peacock. Craig Smith. Oh, what a great run from Craig Smith, right over the top of Moore. Parker stopped him. Here comes Gareth Hock. Now, was he onside there, Peacock?
Well, he certainly didn't look as though he was standing square. It moved away very quickly. He was the first marker.
Farrell, that ball bounces unkindly. It's a try here. It's a try for Danny Tickle. It bounced off the Bradford man.
And obviously the grounding as well, please.
I think there's nothing wrong with the grounding, and I think the Bradford man might even have played at this, so it's definitely a try. He does. He does. The legs out.
Yeah. And as soon as it ricocheted off, everybody is onside. Took a wicked bounce. I think it was off Jamie Lowe's.
And an even wickeder bounce past Robbie Paul.
No doubt about this. That is well done by Mr. Tickle. Super stuff. Well, the kicking game yet again. Adrian Lamb has been given the opportunity. Oh, that was a wicked bounce, wasn't it? There was nothing he could do about it. Jimmy Lowe's just got a foot to it, so everyone was onside. No doubt in the mind of the official. And what a scoreline. Who would have thought it?
Danny Tickle with the try. Substitute last week also. He missed the win at St Helens, and what a win that was. The England A international scored yet another try for Wigan, their 3rd of this half.
You see the ricochet flows, and it was a wicked bounce. Danny Tickle took full advantage of that. Well, you trust your men around you, and they were there. They've looked a lot more eager, haven't they, this Wigan outfit?
They have, in a significant try also, because remember, Danny Sculthorpe is still in the sin bin. Farrell, 3 from 3. This is bang in front for him. 6 goals against Hull last week, 7 from 7 against St Helens. James Lowe's not terribly impressed so far, but the Wigan public will be, because this is an outstanding scoreline for the Warriors. 21 points to 6. And they're here at Odsal, Fortress Odsal, and a big crowd at Odsal, by the way, is strangely quiet. But they're not.
Hold the line, fellas, watch the line.
Well, the travelling fans, they're enjoying, and rightly so. They've been, oh, that's not going to make it. Going to be a penalty. Got to make the 10 metres, failed to do that.
It's going from bad to worse for Bradford, and Brian Noble will be anxious to get at them at half-time. Stuart Raper would be happy if this just carried on.
Will he ever? And I think the first word he has to say to them, say, hey, come on, fellas, we've got to concentrate a lot more.
Where have you been?
Never made the 10. And really, the big fella there, Vanicola, should have allowed it to bounce. At least it may have just gone into the touchline.
Andy Farrell with the penalty on halfway has elected to kick for goal. I think he will get the distance.
No doubt about it.
It's a question of direction and whether he'll get it dead if he doesn't score.
Very little breeze, and even if you get the strong breeze here, the stadium is cut out of a quarry. It's so low, doesn't really affect it down there.
Well, the Bradford fans know that the Wiganers are behind the posts. He's scuffed it a bit, and he's not got it dead, and it didn't reach, really. Just got about a metre beyond the posts.
Brian Noble really has got to get
knock on against Robbie Paul.
He's got to get the message out. They've got to start concentrating, and they've also got to concentrate on the job in hand, which is to play rugby league football. There's quite a few of the players out there. They're more intent in talking to the official and trying to control this game rather than just concentrate, and he knows it.
Well, another try here for Wigan, and Bradford will have it all to do. Lamb feeds, gets it, gives it to Graham, and here is young Aspinwall. Finished off by Carl Pratt. This is Graham. Craig Smith to drive it in again. Oh, he's lost it. Or was it stolen?
Yes,
it was.
2 on 1. And there again, just what I was talking about. Pratt went and run to the touch judge, gave him a mouthful, then came back. It looked as though he was wanting to get it. You can see quite clearly that he's whipping the ball away. Well, we criticised the touch judges, but there was no way in the world he was going to ignore that. They've lost the plot of the balls.
Carl Pratt, he last missed a game at Wigan in May. He's been in smashing form over the past 6 games, 4 of them at standoff, but tonight coming off the bench. And he's still looking daggers at the touch judge, who's waiting to see whether this penalty from Farrell will cross over the top of the H. It's a strangely lethargic Bradford, but it's a Wigan that's come out of the traps meaning business. Farrell has kicked another. 23 points to 6. Wigan very much in the driving seat here at Odsal, and the Bradford crowd have got to lift now, because they've got to lift the team.
They certainly have, but they've got to look at themselves, Eddie. They've got to really go into it, and this is the situation, and he's just one of them. How on earth? They're just losing the plot completely. He won't mind. The one thing that Stuart Raper surely has to get the message to, it's a short one, but it's taken well. Oh, that's a big mistake there from Newton. You should never try to offload once you've got possession from a kickoff.
And Radford was onto the mistake in a flash.
What I was saying,
Bradford now have got the chance again.
What I was saying, Stuart Raper must send out the message, don't get involved, fisticuffs or rough stuff. They're controlling the game.
Wide it goes to Gilmore. Play the ball to the referee. Oh, and there's a bunch of them round there, and this is Harpy. Sculthorpe's back out of the sin bin notice. Lowe's going on his own. There is a sheer weight of numbers there, though.
Nearly whipped him over on.
Nearly did.
Crossed the line.
Nearly pulled him over the line. Harpy. And Harpy is smothered in the tackle, and that's the turnover.
Well, they went for the power play. There's a kick-off there, and Newton really should have kept hold of this. He's had enough experience. Maybe he lost it, to be fair to him, but that's when you just pull it into baby and keep it there.
Carney drilled into the ground by Robert Parker. And here is Sculthorpe again. Pratt and Naylor, the men to halt his progress.
Wonderful effort by Wigan, you know, Eddie, with the fact that Sculthorpe was in the sin bin.
Yes, they conceded one try, but they also scored one. Farrell taking the responsibility himself, driving it up the middle once more.
Come on!
Doing a lot more running with the football as well. For many years, a lot of people were criticising the fact that he crabbed across all the time through the dummy, but now he's getting through a lot more work.
Here's the kick from Lamb again.
Play on!
And it's again into the arms of Vicona. Good chase, Sculthorpe. It's been a wonderful first half from Wigan. Arguably their best of the season. Vainicolo. They're eager, they're in the faces of the Bradford Bulls, the Wigan Warriors.
Not allowing Bradford any movement whatsoever.
And Wigan will remember that their last visit to Odsal was a winning one, 30 points to 18 in June 2000. Here is Peacock though, that's a great run from him.
Much better. Concentration, get on with it, quick play the ball instead of just talking to the officials. That's what they needed, but what a hit from Craig Smith.
Naylor felt it too, it's the last tackle. Bradford are 20 metres away with Lowe's attacking the line and putting the kick in. Carney though safe. And the Irishman nearly through.
Come on,
great run there. Carney's positioning was superb.
If Wigan are happy with this 23-6 scoreline, all they need to do is play simple stuff for the next minute and not rush it. Tickle.
That's the reason why they're playing that tight blind side. They've got that off to near perfection, haven't they? Oh, that's going to be a penalty. Let's get out of the ruck area.
Yes,
Jimmy Lowe's knows it.
Lowe's just sat there.
And again, they're chuntering to this official.
It's not the referee's fault that James Lowe's was on his backside in the ruck.
There you go.
And
There you go.
it's unseemly, isn't it, sadly, to see a player of this calibre just mouthing
He's not at look
to the referee.
He's famous for it, Eddie, and he's that type of character, and that's the reason why he's such a good player, because he hates losing. We can understand that, but he's not the only one out there. There's a lot more on the Bradford side wanting to control
Lamb
things.
with another drop goal, and he's got another point for the Wigan cause. Well, before this we saw him score his 5th for Wigan and his 2nd this year. We've just seen him score his 6th and his 3rd of the year, and Brian Noble's men go off with boos ringing in their ears. James Lowe's has had a most unhappy 40 minutes, as have the Bradford Bulls, but what a half for Andrew Farrell and Wigan. They lead by 24 points to 6 at half-time. Bradford trail at half-time for the 3rd time in their last 4 matches. Can they get out of the hole here? They are still chuttering away to the referee.